So what's going on? So I wanted to make a video about tips and a little bit about cherry picking, and they kind of go together. So what inspired this video is I have a buddy who just started last week, and he made $1,300 last week on his very first week, which we all know is incredible, right? And a big reason why he did is he had me coaching him. You know, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of us, for sure, didn't know anything. You know, we just turned on the app one day, you know, didn't know what to expect. And we took every delivery, and we didn't know that we could, unassign anything. We didn't know, that much of nothing. We didn't know really where to go in our own area, nothing. We just didn't know nothing, and so, if you just watch these videos or get help from somebody that you know is DoorDashing and that's successful, you can be successful right off the bat. His name's John. John's DoorDashing in St. Peters, Missouri, and I'm DoorDashing in Chesterfield. The zones back up to each other. Matter of fact, I deliver to his zone a couple times a week. Total Wine has a bunch of deliveries going there, and sometimes they pay very well. So I got one of them paid $58 for 12 miles one time. So the areas the zones are very similar. You can make the case actually that Chesterfield is more fluent and has much more corporate. Whereas St. Peters probably has a younger demographic, so they might be more apt to use DoorDash, and they probably have just a tad more industrial, even though Chesterfield, at the end of Chesterfield Airport Road, has some too. So what did I tell him? How did he make $1,300 in 1 week? So, just as quick as I can, number one, yeah, you don't have to take everything. Now, my counsel to him, and we'll talk more about this later, was I try to stay around $2 a mile. I kind of learned that from watching YouTube videos, and I've been pretty successful with that. And now we all know we compromise our miles to money sometimes, down to $1.75. Depending on how many items it has and where it's going and stuff like that. We may compromise down to $1.50, and if it's real slow, it's between 2 and 5 or something like that. We may even compromise down to $1.20. Not very often. Most of the time, there's a whole group of us that stay at $2, and there's actually that group. And there's really 3 groups of people that do DoorDash. One is the $2 a mile people. Who compromise sometime. One is people who take everything, the top dashers, which to me is a ridiculous concept. But that's a whole other video. And then there's a whole great big group of people who follow the $1 a mile, miles to money. So that's the first thing. You don't have to take everything. Number 2, you get to a drive-through, right? I just did this 30 minutes ago. I took a Taco Bell delivery. It was going to be my last delivery today, pretty much. Had 25 items on it. It was $7.75 for 4.8 miles, but 3.5 miles was driving to it. So it was only a mile away. I got there to Taco Bell, and there was cars wrapped all around the building, in the parking lot, whatever. And I unassigned from it. There's a pretty good chance of a hidden tip of 25 items. So I was at least going to check it out. I was hoping that maybe it wasn't as busy as it was. It was pretty late. It's past 10. It's like 10:30. So I was hoping that I get lucky. I didn't get lucky, and I hit the button. I don't want to do this order. Let me slow down a little bit. So let's say I decline an order. It asks you for a reason. I scroll all the way down and hit something else. Like when I unassign an order, it asks you, why do you want to unassign this order? I scroll all the way down and I hit something else. I have a hard time believing that DoorDash is really keeping track of all that. The algorithm is keeping track of all that and giving me deliveries based on that. But I'm not taking any chances. I don't want DoorDash trying to figure me out because I can't. That's pretty impossible. So I always select something else. I think that's important, just in case. So number one, you don't have to take everything. When you decline an order, maybe hit something else. That's what I do. And then also, you can unassign an order if you get it someplace and there's cars wrapped around the building, whatever. Or if you get someplace, Cecil Whitaker's in Chesterfield's a good example. You get there, they say, well, we just got that order 10 minutes ago. It's still going to be 20 minutes. You can say, okay, well, thank you very much, and unassign from it. And they'll ask you a reason, scroll all the way down, hit something else. Number 3, hotspots. Let me tell you about hotspots. Any place with a bunch of restaurants is a hotspot. So where's my hotspot? Where do I try to work to? For me, it's Clarkson to 40. Why? It's right in the middle of my area. Right in the middle of my area. I can go down, and this is what I like to do all day. Go down to Wildwood, back to Clarkson to 40. Wildwood, back to Clarkson to 40. Now, there are times where I'm going to have to go east towards 141, and there's a lot of times I'm going to have to go south towards Manchester. And then why is it important to be in the middle? Because I can go in all those different directions. There's really nothing north there. But I can go all the other 3 directions. I'm right in the middle. And tonight was a pretty good example. Tuesday was a better example. I just kept going Wildwood and back. Made $285 on a Thursday. On a Tuesday. So, that's pretty good. Best Tuesday I ever had for sure. And it was because I was going back and forth. So that's my hot spot. I get centralized in an area, and that's what John does. He's kind of on the edge of his area, so he can either drive down there, or he a lot of times takes the delivery down there. So what else? If you're gonna drive at night, he does drive at night. He's doing this because he's laid off. I'm doing this because I'm in between jobs. Got to have a good flashlight, a spotlight flashlight. Because we all know. I had an apartment today. It was insane. One of those ones where they have apartments on the end. No way you can see it. No way. Barely see it with having a flashlight. Got to have a good flashlight. Also, got to have a great phone holder. You can't be driving down the road and traffic and all that, hold your phone all the time. We all do it. We know we do, because we're getting offered other deliveries and stuff. And if you have a good phone holder, sometimes you can use it on the phone holder. But I don't know about you. A lot of times I just grab my phone, which isn't a good plan. But it's just what I do sometimes. What else? You got to be patient, man. Be disciplined. Don't just start taking. If you have to decline 5-6 orders in a row, the good orders coming. We all know that. If it's that slow, maybe compromise a little bit, but don't go crazy. But also, don't get addicted to declining orders. I've done that where I decline. I should have probably took that. It's happened a bunch of times. Don't get in such a big hurry. Man, when I get tired, because I'm out here 10 to 12 hours a day a lot, man, I'm in a hurry. I make mistakes. Twice in 1,000 deliveries, or close to that, way over 800, 900 deliveries. It's probably it's probably over 1,000 now. Twice, I've delivered food to the wrong people. Well, one for sure, and I corrected it before anybody knew, because thank God it was really close. And the other time, I'm not sure what happened. Nobody ever said anything, but I'm pretty sure I delivered food to the wrong people. And twice out of 1,000 deliveries, forgot the drinks. One time I was on my way home, I looked down and I go, oh man, I forgot that guy's drink. And one time, like an hour after I delivered somewhere, oh man, I forgot that guy's drink. That's the kind of mistakes you make. You also will not take deliveries that you wanted to take, and take deliveries you didn't want to take. And you don't want to waste your acceptance rate, not your acceptance rate, your completion rate. So those are some real good tips. Later on, what you got to worry about, what's really important. I barely have told John about this, and I didn't tell him to do it. I just told him that I multi-app, that I use Uber Eats and DoorDash. I only did one Uber Eats delivery all day. Monday and Tuesday, Tuesday I did more. I think I did like $90 in Uber Eats. Days that I come close to breaking 300, Uber Eats is always a big part of that. So I did get a thing from Grubhub either yesterday or today saying that they're ready for me to sign up too. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. So those are some really good tips. There's a lot more. Like longer deliveries, I'll compromise way down if there's a lot of items and there's highway. And I'm an old man. My name on this account is Old Man River DoorDash. I kind of like the longer deliveries. That lets me, number one, breathe, and number two, just kind of take a little break, and I can still make some money while I'm doing that. When I first started doing this, I was in pretty bad shape. I'm in a little better shape now. I wasn't too sure I could do this easily, but I've had really no problems. I had a shin splint for a while. Oh man, that was painful, but blah, blah, blah. Those are some really, really good tips. You can make money right away. You got to have a good area, and everything is area specific. We're talking about St. Louis, which is densely populated. We're talking about good areas, Chesterfield compared to St. Peter's. Very good areas, lots of restaurants, lots of affluent people, lots of younger people in both areas, especially St. Peter's. That's why we can be picky. So let's talk about cherry picking. There's some evidence that I'm cherry picking too much. And I'm going to give you the evidence. Number one, my buddy John. He says in his area, and by the way, I don't buy this, but this is what he tells me, that there's no way that he could be at $2 a mile or even $1.75. He does a fair amount of $1 a mile deliveries, $1.10 deliveries, $1.20 deliveries, $5 5 miles, $6 5 miles, and on and on and on. There's days he's made more money than me. Today's a decent example. He quit way earlier than I did and still made 180. I made 255, but I worked quite many more hours today. And he's not spending much more in gas. Now, one of the vehicles he uses only gets half the gas mileage. But when you take that into consideration, he's not spending much more in gas and he's making more. So I've kind of mellowed out this week. I've taken a few more deliveries that paid a little less, and a lot of them did not have hidden tips. And sometimes I've been burned. But it's allowed me to get bounced back and forth more. And if you're getting paid going both ways, boy, that's what it's all about. You know, why you want to be in a central location, is that you don't want to ever be on the end of your zone for a long period of time, because you might be taking deliveries outside your zone all the time. You want to bounce back and forth. That's why this week especially, as I've mellowed out just a tiny bit. I'm never going down to $1 a mile. It's just down in my DNA. But I've mellowed out a tiny bit. $8, $5 deliveries. Now all these guys on YouTube, what they say, they do $2 a mile, but then they do a ride along and they take all kinds of stuff that I wouldn't have taken until very recently. And I've averaged, the last 3 weeks I've averaged, the last two weeks I've averaged 1,500 a week, and the week before that I think I made 1,400. So 14, whatever that is, 1,460 a week. So, and my buddy on his first week made 1,300. So very nice, very nice. Now we're working full time. We're working 10, sometimes 12 hours a day, because we're doing this to eat, not as to supplement something. Like I said, he's laid off and I'm in between jobs. So, 2 more instances, right? So, what is with us DoorDashers when we're in the same place, we're waiting, and a lot of times we don't acknowledge each other's presence. Now, I'm a people person. I do want to talk to people because I want to know if maybe they know something I don't know. That's why I started watching YouTube videos. That's why I continue to watch YouTube videos. But man, I'm kind of down on some of the YouTube videos. I don't care how many bad deliveries you can take. I don't care. I really don't care. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't care how many different places you went. I don't care about so much of that stuff. There's one guy, I'm not sure that he's really delivers food. I've never really heard him talk about delivering food. I hear him talking about how DoorDash is going out of business and all that kind of stuff. But I don't. And then the next day he'll say DoorDash is going to give us all more money and stuff like that. It's all clickbait stuff. But if you watch my videos, not very many people do yet, but it's about making money, baby. That's what I'm talking about. How much money can we make today? How profitable can we be? What's the best practices that'll help you do that? I'm not going to tell you, let's see what happens if I take all deliveries. I'm not ever going to do that. I'm not going to try to convince you that you'll get better deliveries that way. No, I don't see how you thought that. Because there's guys that have 10% acceptance rates. They still get good deliveries, right? They would never get good deliveries. Mine's a little high. I think it's like 36. I turned down a lot of deliveries today, though. Might be 33 now. It's real high. My buddy's is 48. So, that's simple. But that's not even what I was talking about. I seen 2 guys out on the road today I did talk to. Not today, this last week. One was at Total Wine, right? It's right there at Baxter and Clarkson. And I said, how you doing? You making any money? And he said, and when I do talk to people, that is the attitude I get. Really? Very rarely does somebody say, yeah, I'm killing it. And a lot of times when I'm killing it, I'm afraid to tell them. Because most of the people I talk to are like, and this guy was, he asked me, he goes, do you take these? And I'm pretty sure that he took a delivery that I just declined, right? Because he asked me, hey man, do you take these cheaper deliveries going so far? And I go, no, I do not. I said, I try to stay around $2 a mile, but on these longer deliveries, I might compromise down to $1.50, $1.40, $1.30, something like that. Especially if it's a big order, or if it's all highway, or going to another area where I think I might get a delivery, And he's like, oh man, I think I'm just like trying to say around $1 a mile. Do you? But I know Chesterfield. I'm not sure about my buddy out in St. Peter's. I don't buy what he says, but I don't buy what this guy said at all. Because he's asking me about taking crazy deliveries, like $15 for 21 miles or something along that percentage, And he was like really depressed. And the second guy I seen at Cecil Whitaker's. And now Cecil Whitaker's is on Manchester Road. It is a very depressing place. Has to pay very well because you're gonna wait. All these places where you're gonna wait, accept it. Don't think that all of a sudden you're not gonna wait. You're gonna wait. So we're both at Cecil Whitaker's. We're both waiting. Probably 10 minutes apiece. He looks like he's really angry. And I said, what's going on, man? He goes, oh, I'm doing good. I go, you making any money? He goes, nope. No, not really. I go, really? He goes, I go, how much are you making today? He says 160. I'm going to tell you why 160 is important in just a second. This video can't go on forever. And I said, and then he goes on about a delivery in Eureka, Missouri, which is like 10 miles on the other side of Chesterfield. Somehow it's in the Chesterfield zone. About a $5 delivery or $3, whatever it was, and had to wait for it or something. I'm sure it was drive-through only or something. And I tried to tell him, hey, dude, you don't have to do those deliveries. Matter of fact, you don't even have to go out to Eureka in the first place unless it pays $2 a mile. And then he starts on his $1 a mile thing. And I tried to help him. And why is 160 important? That's exactly what I used to make every day when I took everything. Exactly. That's what I averaged, 160. And when I stopped, it went up to 200. This week, it's like 260, 270. 270, I would think, at least. So, there's some... I'm definitely cherry picking more than my buddy, more than the two people I talked to last week out on the road. But only my buddy. I mean, he's just like me because I can't believe that we're making this kind of money doing this. And I said, yeah, me either. It doesn't have to be a depressing thing. You can make money depending on where you're at and all that. In St. Louis, Missouri. That's why I talk about St. Louis all the time, because that's where I'm at, right? In St. Louis, you can make money. Okay? Just have fun out here, man. Most of the time, I'm having fun. Not all the time. It can get stressful. Now, when I used to take everything and then be on those $3 deliveries or the $8 20-mile deliveries and stuff, it wasn't as much fun. And when it's slow, it's fun. I'm all over the app. I think the app's messed up when I'm not getting deliveries. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Sometimes it is for sure. We all know it crashed for a little bit on Tuesday. But have some fun out there, man. Life's too short for all that. Hope this video was helpful. Let's make some money, baby. Make some money.